Hello and welcome. It's another edition of Skill for You, the platform where awareness on the importance of vocational training, skill acquisition, and everything else along that line is being projected. And of course, we break down these issues into simple terms that you can understand so you understand what we're talking about. Welcome to the program. My name is Patience. It is always a delight to be here. For a while now, we have been projecting the Honey Treat Trade Academy a bit more, which is like the foundation of what we're doing here. And the reason being that we want more people to get to know us better and also to know the many good things we're doing. On today's episode of the program, we'll be talking with some of our funding partners. They are called the ISHK TOLARAM Foundation. We have two gentlemen from there, and they'll be telling us a whole lot about what they've been doing in terms of driving entrepreneurship through vocational training. So quickly, let me introduce our guest on the program today. It's a pleasure to have the program director from ISHK TOLARAM Foundation, the person of Mr. OJ Ivagba. You're welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. It's a
Good
pleasure
to have
be
you here.
Yeah, same here. Thanks
Welcome
for the
to the show.
opportunity. Thank you.
All right. And also we have the program manager, ISHK TOLARAM Foundation, the person of Mr. Abiola Oyeneye.
Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you here. And of course, it won't be a complete program if we don't have the other half, of the whole arrangement also on the program. I'm talking about the MD CEO, Honey Treat Trade Academy. He's also the MD CEO of Honey Treat Global Services Group. It's a pleasure to have Builder Shoyebi Samson on the program. Nice to have you on the show again, sir.
Thank you for having me, madam.
Now that we have you around, we are enjoying your presence.
It's good now. Always a pleasure to sit with you anytime, any day.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
This gospel of learn a skill, it's been quite a passionate one for you. I want to ask, how would you say the young people, themselves, how are they embracing this whole skill acquisition gospel that you've been preaching?
Okay, so it's unfortunately, or rather fortunately, depends on where you stand. Bulk of our youthful population want things that gives them almost immediate outcomes. They don't have the patience to say, I want to start small, I want to learn a skill, a trade, I want to start my process gradually. So basically, when you look at the responsiveness of our youth, you realize that some of them do take it with a lot of excitement, but the kind of response we're getting is not what we have envisaged. And our little survey did tell us that bulk of our youths today, they want immediate outcome. They want to plant it now. They want the outcome now. Whereas skill is not like that. Skill is like a seed that you plant. You have to water it. You have to weed it. You have to wait for the season to be right. You have to wait for the harvest. You have to store the harvest. So if you are not patient, you won't get the desired outcome. But bulk of our youth don't have that patience. Only just a little few who has the right orientation. And that's why you can see that most of our youths are now looking at other options. Some are doing Yahoo, some are doing tech or tech plus, whatever it is you want. Cyber fraud, But we need that orientation and we must keep on talking to people. I like the fact that ISHK TOLARAM is starting their program with soft skill orientation. They want to make sure that these people have the right orientation. The design of the program was specific for youth. And there is a reason for that. When I started, our model for training is slightly different from most models you find around. And this basis for that was very simple. We knew that we are just like a drop in the ocean. The volume of people who need to acquire these skills, they are massive. Some of them don't even know that that's the way out for them. So when you look at it, you find out that if we train, say, 100 in a year, the population of Nigeria is increasing every year by about 5%. We are now 220. As at 2019 election, we were 185. As at 2023 election, we were 220 million. And by 2027, survey is saying that we'll be 250. So you can see how galloping our population is increasing. And look at the number of people who are being trained on a daily basis. So we trained such that people can become employers of labor, not just employees.
Okay.
We give them entrepreneurship. We give them subsidy training. We give them health and safety in addition to the technical skill they acquire. So when they go out, coupled with the tools that ISHK TOLARAM does give them, it enables them to begin to serve the public almost immediately. And that gives them independence. So it's not just them looking for a job. We need people who will get a job and bring in 2 or 3, 4, 5 more persons to work with them. Not just you saying you want to go and join a company and be working, only you. We need people who will be entrepreneurial in their capacity, who will be able to sell value and solve problems. So we would have loved that more youthful population. And that was the reason why we established this Skill for You podcast. I heard when you were talking earlier, you're talking about the motivation for this. We want to evangelize skill. We want skill to be at the forefront of conversation. When you talk about entertainment, people know Davido, they know brand, they know different people, they know different songs, but nobody is talking about skill. And that is the only thing that can take Nigeria out of poverty.
True that.
That's the only way we can maximize productivity in the country. If you talk about oil and gas, we now have the Dangote refinery here in Lagos. The man had to bring in thousands of people to come work here from
outside,
India and other countries. Whereas, what happened? Why can't we train our own youths?
We have the population.
We have the population.
Yes.
Why can't we train our own people, give them the skills so that they can, add value at that refinery? But no, we don't have that. So we are believing that with this podcast, we can change the narrative. We can bring the orientation to the forefront of the conversation so that people now begin to see skill as a way forward, as the only option. As a lady, if you can make bags, you can make shoes, you'll be getting a very decent income. But if you believe that government is the only one to do everything for you, at the end of the day, you find out that hunger is knocking. Last year, there was a lot of massive increase in cost of food. And people were asking me, why is things so expensive? Mr. President did this. I said, no, this is not about Mr. President. It's a principle of demand and supply. If the supply is enough, the price will not be high. If the supply is not enough, automatically the demand will be very, very, and it will cause scarcity and the price will be high as well. So we need to keep on talking about skill. We need to keep on putting it at the face of our youths. We need to make sure that they are part of it and they know. Gradually, we will change their orientation and the country will be better.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shoebi. Now, in conclusion, Mr. Ivagba, how are you putting ISHK TOLARAM Foundation out there? Like, to borrow a phrase from Mr. Shoebi, in the face of the youth. So how are you pushing out the image of ISHK TOLARAM Foundation and also the many things you're doing?
Thanks. So, indeed, we are setting an agenda for youth development through our programming, through the Skills Hub, through the grants we give to other nonprofits to also fund other youth development programs. So, beyond Skills Hub, which focuses on vocational training, we also target indigenous nonprofits that are able to demonstrate results, which we fund. And we also try to convince critical stakeholders within the ecosystem to drive this agenda. So we have an annual conference when our youth graduate. Through that conference, we pull together all stakeholders to discuss these issues.
Do you also have like an alumni?
Yes, we have a huge alumni base, right? Yeah, we have a huge alumni base because we provide continuous learning support beyond the training and their graduation. So as alumni, we provide them ongoing support. But we also want to showcase what's working because a lot of young people also, based on what they've seen in the past, right? And also because truly these skilling pathways were neglected. Many people believe it's not for me. It's derogatory for you to even tell somebody you're going to be a plumber. And like me, I'll end up being a plumber. Or I reject it, things like that. But when you show success stories like some of those you've had on your podcast, and people can see And like we are doing, like we start off with the soft skills, and we actually go around even working sometimes local governments to do sensitization with youth before we even onboard them. Just bring a lot of your unemployed youth. Let's talk to them. Let's provide them with a contrary narrative to what they assume to be true. Because we realize a lot of young people are living based on assumptions in Nigeria. To tell them what the facts are, to tell them what the potentials are, and then we can support them.
Fantastic. I'm really happy. I'm excited about that. But then can I just ask? I mean, ISHK is funding so many people. Who funds ISHK?
So Tolaram is a diversified business, like I noted. People don't know the brand Tolaram, but maybe typically when we mention a couple of our business units,
Production lines.
Okay.
then it's huge. Maybe one I'll mention just because they're quite popular is Indomie. Indomie is one of our business in Nigeria. There are a couple of others, many others.
I asked that a question intentionally so people know. I mean, everything is legit.
Know the connection.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have diverse businesses here in Nigeria, quite successful businesses here in Nigeria.
So this is like the CSR arm of whatever your production lines are.
So the difference there is actually much more deliberate than the CSR arm.
Okay.
We are a foundation set up by the family. That owns Tolaram.
Okay.
So our commitment is a bit deeper than...
It's
Tolaram
you're more invested.
Yes, Tolaram CSR, businesses could do their CSR, but we are quite different.
Okay. Good to know. All right, so Mr. Oyene, maybe you have a word or two for the youth who are actually listening or watching at this point in time, on this whole acquiring a skill thing. What would you like to say to them?
Yeah, so I'll just reiterate what I started with about problem solving. Everybody need to look at how do I solve problem, because that's how we can change society and also improve ourselves in different capacity, either how we earn or how we build ourselves. So if young people begin to look about or ask themselves this question, how do I solve problem, and look out for opportunities that can help them continue to solve problem, I think we'll have a better society. And that is why I say, and also ask ourselves, how can I be of value or of service to people? If I'm thinking that way, so a lot of, like Builder Shoebi said, young people want to plant now and harvest by immediately, instantly. So once you're telling them it's a 3-month program, a 6-month program, they're like,
that's already too long.
That's too long. I mean, how am I going to survive? What am I going to eat today? But for asking ourselves questions as to how do I serve or be of service to people, and there's no how you're of service to people that you will not have sufficiency for yourself. There's no how I will serve you that you won't, remunerate me. If I come to fix your plumbing issues, you would. It's called exchange of value. So if we are thinking that way, but young people just you also mentioned those going to social vices and all of that, because they just want quick, easy way out of these things, and it doesn't work that way. So my charge to young people is, let's see how we can continue to solve problems. So there are diverse problems in Nigeria that we can begin to, even beyond vocational skilling now. Generally, there are problems in different sectors, in different areas of society. Now, people can look keenly into. If you spot those problems, begin to see how can I build myself or develop myself to serve that market, and you change your life for that.
Thank you so much for that. All right, Builder Shoebi, I also like for you to say something to the youth. Quickly.
Just like Mr. Oyene had mentioned, it's all about understanding that we all have stakes in how our society turns out. So I can sit down and just face my construction business and make my money and be fine. Yeah. But at the end of the day, am I safe? If we live in a society where the wealthy, are just taking care of themselves and they left every other person, eventually you find out that you see that your security will be nothing. So it's a responsibility call for everyone that we all must play our role in societal development. It's not just government's responsibility. ISHK TOLARAM Foundation had found a gap somewhere. a need gap and they are plugging it. There are loads of other gaps in the society. How many of us are rising to the occasion to say we want to plug this gap? This podcast was established to plug a gap. Most of the TV stations don't talk about skill. Some do, but it's not at the front of the conversation. We want to bring skill. We want to showcase to the world that the next level that we're talking about is skill. You want to increase the GDP of Nigeria, is skill. You want to increase production, is skill. You want to reduce unemployment, it is skill that people need. You want people to do agriculture, you want a lot of people to farm next season. You need to give them skill today, because without that skill, there is nothing that will happen tomorrow. You want people to go into oil and gas, you want people to go into tech, you need to empower them, you need to enable them, you need to skill them up. And the call and the charge to the nation today is that skill up Nigeria. We should have a slogan like that. Skill up Nigeria.
Exactly.
Skill up Nigeria. Skill up Nigeria.
And it has to start like right now. I think we're even a bit too late in the day, because the rest of the world, are already far gone in this issue of skill. And economies that are fast developing, you go to the root of it and you find out that it's because the bulk of the population are also, skillful people. I want to say a very big, big, big thank you to our guests today. Thank you to the program director, ISHK TOLARAM Foundation, Mr. OJ Ivagba. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. And also to the program manager, ISHK TOLARAM Foundation, Mr. Abiola Oyineye. Thank you so much for your time. You're welcome. And also many thanks to the MD CEO, Honey Treat Trade Academy, Builder Shoebi Samson. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Yep. And also to you too. Thank you for watching or listening. And don't forget that this is not an entertainment program. Even if we did manage to entertain you somehow, I don't know. But then it is for you to propagate the gospel of learning a skill, okay? Because in today's world, having a college degree, you will agree with me, is no longer enough for anyone. You must learn a skill. It is a must. Learn a skill. Encourage people around you. In fact, take it upon yourself. As you are preaching the gospel of our Savior Jesus Christ, be preaching the gospel of skill. Go to all those Baba Jebu centers around your neighborhood and tell those young men idling away to get up and learn a skill. All right. The Honey Treat Trade Academy is there for you. Whatever skill you want to learn. And of course, the ISHK Foundation, the Skills Hub, is also there waiting for young people to tap into this fantastic opportunity. Well, that's about it on the show today. Thank you for being a part of it. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Honey Treat TV. And of course, you get to watch all of our fantastic programming. Thank you again. We'll see you on another one. Bye for now.